Good day everyone. In this video, we will be talking about the Colregs 1972. I am Decadet Archival with my members Decadet Ancajas, Decadet Alejabo, and Decadet Aguitong. Colregs 1972 contains 38 rules, 5 parts, the Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D, and the Part E. In the Part B, it contains 3 sections, the Section 1, Section 2, and the Section 3, and the 4 annexes. The importance of this topic is to establish rules to avoid collision at sea. Rule number 1. Application. These rules shall apply to all vessels upon the high seas and in all waters connected therewith navigable by sea-going vessels, except areas within the demarcation lines dash magenta colored shown on the chart where inland rules apply. Separate areas governed by the Colregs from those governed by the inland rules, meaning all ships big or small are to follow the rules as given in Colregs. Small yachts, fishing vessels, and other barges, all as long as they sail on the seas. All waters connected to the high seas, which include major rivers having ports on their banks and which are visited by sea-going vessels. High seas means open seas, coastal waters, or waters far away from land. All bays and canals which are connected to the seas, provided that they are sailed by the ocean-going vessels. However, certain exemptions are given to this latter by the paragraph B of this rule. Paragraph B. Nothing in these rules shall interfere with the operation of any special rules made by an appropriate authority for roadsteads, harbors, rivers, lakes, or inland waters connected with the high seas and navigable by sea-going vessels. Such special rules shall conform as closely as possible to these rules, meaning a harbor or port authority or a country may make some special rules for their port approaches or rivers or anchorage areas. In that case, the Colregs shall not cause confusion in having an opposing view to the rules. These special rules, if made, shall remain restricted only to the defined areas as stated: roadsteads, harbors, rivers, lakes, or inland waterways. The appropriate authority would be the body in control of the area concerned. However, the rules that a country or port makes shall not be too dissimilar to the Colregs so as to minimize confusion and errors, thus reducing potential accidents. For example, such special rules exist and applicable in inland waters of Japan and within US. The inland rules of the US begin to apply to all traffic within 3 miles from the US coast.
Good day, sir. This is Decadet Ancajas Cham, and I'm here to report Rule 1, Application C. So in Rule 1, Application C, nothing in this rule shall interfere with the operation of any special rules made by the government of any state with respect to additional station or signal lights, ships or whistle signals, ships of war, vessels proceeding under convoy, so fishing vessels engaged in fishing as a fleet stipulated in Annex 2 of Colregs 1972. So this additional station or signal lights, ships or whistle signals shall so far as possible be such that they cannot be mistaken for any light, shape, or signal authorized elsewhere under these rules. So these rules refers to additional lights and signals for fishing vessels, warships, and other vessels authorized by the government of any state, and does not apply to the signals for vessels fishing in close proximity listed in Annex 2 which have received international agreement. So next is the Rule 1 Application D. So traffic separation schemes may be adopted by the organization for the purpose of these rules. So in this section of the rule gives IMO or the organization the authority to adopt traffic separation schemes to which the provisions of Rule 10 will apply. A government may in urgent cases implement a new scheme or an amendment to an adopted scheme before receiving IMO approval. The particulars of traffic separation schemes are laid down in the IMO publications. Ships routing amendments are issued to enable the publication to be keep up to date and information about new schemes or amendments to existing schemes are also promulgated through notices to mariners. So next is Rule 1 Application E. So in Rule 1 Application E, whenever the government considered shall have determined that a vessel of any special construction or purpose cannot comply with the provisions of any of these rules with respect to the lights and underlights number, range, position, arc of visibility. Next is shapes, sound signaling appliances. So below sound signaling appliances is the disposition and characteristics. So such vessel shall comply with such other provisions in regard to the number, position, range of arc, or visibility of lights or shapes, as well as to the disposition and characteristics of sound signaling appliances, as her government shall have determined to be the closest compliance with these rules in respect of that vessel. So in these rules, these rules originally had particular application to the naval vessels but also applied to other vessels of special construction and purpose. When full compliance with the provision of the rule for lights, shapes, or sound signaling appliances could not be achieved without interfering with the special function of the vessel, aircraft carriers have their masthead lights placed off the center line with a reduced horizontal separation. Their side lights may be on the either side of the hull or on either side of the island structure. Many warship of over 50 meters in length cannot be fitted with a second masthead light. So submarines usually have two masthead lights, but the forward white light may be lower than the side lights. Some submarines are fitted with another flashing light 2 meters above the after masthead light for use and an aid to identification in narrow waters and areas of dense traffic. A similar light is used by hovercraft. So in these rules, it is based on the structure of the ship in which the lights will be fitted.
Good morning, sir. My name is Cadet Aguitong. I'll be reporting the Rule 2, which is the responsibility. A. Nothing in this rule shall exonerate any vessel or the owner, master or crew thereof from the consequences of any neglect to comply with these rules or the neglect of any precaution, which may be required by the seaman or by the special circumstances of the case. Meaning, there is no escaping the penalty of not following these rules. Everybody is responsible and no excuses are permitted. There are some practices which are followed by seamen which may not be in the rules but they have been said and in use for many years. Even these are included in compliance. These rules was formulated after all the ordinary practice of the seamen were written down as part of these rules, but some of the ordinary practices which may have been overlooked are covered by this rule. Circumstances can dictate a deviation from these rules, like if the seaman thinks that by following the rules is special situation, the action would endanger the ships. In that case, a deviation may be permitted which will not endanger the ships. B. In construing and complying with these rules, due regard shall be had to all dangers of navigation and collision. So any special circumstances, including the limitation of the vessels involved from these rules necessary to avoid immediate danger. Meaning, in understanding and complying the rules, pay close attention to the dangers of navigation and to those circumstances which arise where blindly following these rules may endanger the ships. So that's all, sir.
Now let's move on to the Rule 3, which is the general definition. And by the way, I am Ritche C. Alejabo, and I will explain the Rule 3. The first one will be the vessel. So this includes every description of watercraft used or capable of being used as means of transportation on water. Examples are non-displacement craft, seaplanes, and wing craft. The next one is power-driven vessel. So this means any vessel propelled by machinery are called power-driven vessel. The next one is sailing vessel, which means any vessel that uses her sail is called sailing vessel, even though she has a propeller machinery, but if it's not used, then it is called a sailing vessel. The next one is vessel engaged in fishing. So any vessel fishing with nets, lines, trawls, or other fishing apparatus which restricts maneuverability but does not include a vessel fishing with trolling lines or other fishing with trolling lines or other fishing apparatus which do not restrict maneuverability. The next one is seaplane. This includes any aircraft designed to maneuver on the water. The next one is vessel not under command. A vessel which, through some exceptional circumstances, is unable to maneuver as required by these rules, and is therefore unable to keep out of the way of other vessels. Vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver. A vessel which, from the nature of her work, is restricted in her ability to maneuver as required by these rules, and is therefore unable to keep out of the way of another vessel. The next one is vessel SRAM. There are two types of vessel SRAM, amphibious dredger, and vessel servicing a landmark. These are some examples. A vessel engaged in laying, servicing, or picking up a navigational mark, submarine cable, or pipeline. A vessel engaged in dredging, surveying, or underwater operations. And the last one is a vessel engaged in replenishments of or transporting persons, provisions, or cargo while underway. Another examples for vessel SRAM is a vessel engaged in launching or recovering of aircraft, a vessel engaged in mine clearance operations, a vessel engaged in a towing operation such as severely restricts the towing vessel and her tow in their ability to deviate from their course. The next one is vessel constrained by her draught. A power-driven vessel which, because of her draught in relation to the availability of depth and width of navigable water, is severely restricted in her ability to deviate from the course she is following. The next one is underway, which means that a vessel is not at anchor or made fast to the shore or aground. The next one is length. So this means her length overall. And the breadth means greatest breadth or the beam. The next one is vessels shall be deemed to be in sight of one another only when one can be observed visually from the other. The next one is restricted visibility. Any condition which visibility is restricted by fog, mist, falling snow, heavy rainstorm, sandstorm, or any other similar causes. The next one is wing craft or wing in ground. This means a multimodal craft when in its operational mode flies in close proximity to the surface by utilizing surface effect action. And that would be all for the rule 3, and thank you.